Hello and welcome back to Bookish and welcome to Tag Wednesday. I didn't do a tag yesterday on Tuesday for Tag Tuesday because, well, I did 5 tags last week and I was feeling a little bit tagged out. But I watched BookTube yesterday, which was Tag Tuesday, and I realized, and I was tagged a couple of times on Tag Tuesday yesterday, and I saw another tag that I really that I wanted to do, even though I wasn't tagged. And so that means I'm already, behind again by 3 tags. So I thought, well, I better film one today and on Wednesday. And this tag is the favorite family. Wait, I got to get it right. Favorite festive family films book tag. Favorite festive films book tag. I'm sorry. It was created by a channel called KrakentoagoodBook. I'll leave a link down below. I saw a link to this on Nikki at DarkBetweenPages page. Our channel, and I was tagged by my good friend Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics. Anyway, so I hope the lighting's right. Let's go ahead and get down to the questions. The idea behind this prompt is it's associating bookish questions with popular Christmas movies. So prompt number 1, Elf, the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. What's a book that makes you smile? Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol makes me smile. Reading the book and the film adaptations. And by the way, this is going to come up quite often because A Christmas Carol is my absolute favorite Christmas story, and in lots of ways my absolute favorite Christmas movie. So then prompt number 2 is the Muppet Christmas Carol. Blue furry Charles Dickens who hangs out with a rat. Charles Dickens was a 19th century novelist. What's one of your favorite adaptations or a retelling of a story? So my favorite adaptation retelling story is pretty much every movie version of A Christmas Carol. I'm not a big fan of the Bill Murray kind of adaptation from the 80s called Scrooged. There are some funny moments in it, but I just don't like it all that much. That would probably be the only version of A Christmas Carol that I don't like. And I mentioned many times that on my channel that I really don't like musicals, but my favorite musical is the musical Scrooge, the movie version of that starring Albert Finney, which is actually my favorite adaptation of A Christmas Carol in general. Prompt number 3, The Grinch, your 3-decker sauerkraut toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce. Who is one of your favorite book villains? That would be Vautrin from the novels of Honoré de Balzac. He is a thief, he's a manipulator, he is a con man, he pretends to be a priest, he pretends to be all kinds of things, and he ruins people's lives, he builds people up, he does terrible things, he does great things, and in the end he retires and becomes the superintendent of police, I believe, for the city of Paris. He's based on a real life criminal named Vidocq, I believe, who followed a similar career path. So he's my favorite villain. And then Scrooge himself, to stick with the Christmas Carol theme. Scrooge is one of my favorite villains, in part because of the complete redemption, but also in part because just of how thoroughly real Scrooge is as a villain. Miserly, money-oriented, compassionless, so sure that he's right, so sure that wealth makes right, and that the poor deserve no pity and no assistance. He reminds me of some people in positions of power today. Prompt number 4 was, let's see, SpongeBob Christmas Special. This Christmas feels like the very first Christmas to me. I guess that's a SpongeBob thing. Look at me. I'm a little too old for SpongeBob. Anyway, who is one of your favorite... what was one of the first books you read in one of your favorite genres? So that would... I have 2 answers. When I was a young person, fantasy was my favorite genre. And the first real fantasy novel I read that I liked was C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I have a feeling that's the answer for lots of people to this question. But also, being a historian, being somebody who loves to write history, the first book I really loved that was a history book was called We Were There at the Battle of the Bulge. And I remember distinctly going to my elementary school library in the 4th grade. And the 4th grade was the first time we were allowed to check out books from any section in our library. I don't know why that was true. But, it was an actual chapter book, a hardbound chapter book. It was about the Battle of Bulge in World War II, and I read it, and I read the other we were there at, like we were there at the Battle of the Alamo, and there were a couple of others in our library that I read. And I think those books really kind of helped fuel my love of history, that and having a dad who was a history buff himself. The next prompt is a Christmas story, in parentheses, a major award. By the way, I love a Christmas story movie. I really like a lot of Christmas movies. You might not think it to look at me. So name a book you have that has won an award. And so I'm going to go with The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. This is just the one that came to mind because I've been thinking about prizes, and if you watch my video Saturday, I won't go back through that whole thing, but I've been thinking about prizes, and Underground Railroad, or The Underground Railroad, was published in 2017, the same year as George Saunders' Lincoln in the Bardo, and of the two, I preferred The Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad won the Pulitzer, and Lincoln in the Bardo won the Booker Prize. So I just chose that one. You know, I think probably like a lot of us, we have many books that have won awards, so that was just the one I chose. Prompt 6, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Jelly the Month Club. What's a book you were excited to read that turned out to be a disappointment? That was last month's The Saddest Words, William Faulkner's Civil War by Michael Gora. It just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It's not that it was bad, I just wanted it to be really, really good, and in my opinion, it wasn't. Prompt number 7, I believe. Yes, Bad Santa. Should I fix you some sandwiches? I've never seen Bad Santa. Name a character who's optimistic or wants to help others. I went with Gatsby, Gatsby from The Great Gatsby, because Gatsby believed in the green light. You know, Gatsby was optimistic. He thought if he just worked harder, made more money, took more of the right steps, made himself into the right kind of person, that he could have the future that he wanted. And the future that he wanted was Daisy. And so he fixated on and believed in the green light at the end of her dock. Did he help people? I think he helped people. That's, you know, stretching it a little bit probably to say that he helped people, but I guess I could say he wanted to help people, except probably Tom Buchanan. But I chose him because one of the reasons why is, in thinking about this, I couldn't think of a lot of books I read with an optimistic character who also wanted to help people. I've read a lot of books with characters who like to help people, but not a lot of them are optimistic. For instance, Jane Eyre wants to help people, but she's not really an optimist. You know, you see what I mean. Anne Elliot from my favorite Jane Austen novel, Persuasion, wants to help people, but I'm not sure she's an optimist. So to me, that was kind of a difficult combination, and so I just went with Gatsby. Prompt number 8. The Santa Claus, seeing isn't believing, believing is seeing. What is something from a book that you wish were real? And this was kind of a difficult question for me as well. And so I went back to A Christmas Carol, and I said The Ghost of Christmas Present. The Ghost of Christmas Present in the Dickens story, A Christmas Carol, is my favorite of the ghosts. And I think I like him the best, and the one reason why I wish he were real and myself and others would have to be confronted by the Ghost of Christmas Present, it's because he confronts Scrooge with the problems that exist in the world in which Scrooge lives at that moment. And it's in the present that we can make a difference. It's in the present that we should be aware of the problems that exist so that we can fix them. If you hear a weird noise, Zelda's decided to choose this opportunity to chew on her elk horn, which is what we buy her to chew on when she gets bored. Anyway, so that's what the weird noise is. But, you know, the Ghost of Christmas Present is the one who makes Scrooge aware of the problems that come from poverty, of want and ignorance and all these other kinds of things that come up. He makes Scrooge aware of how people view Scrooge so that he can, you know, think about that. He makes Scrooge aware of the problems that people in Scrooge's life face. And I think oftentimes it's easy for us to forget those things. It's easy for us to focus on things in the past or to worry about things in the future and not take action in the present. So if there was one thing from a book that I wish were real, it would be The Ghost of Christmas Present. Prompt number 9, The Nightmare Before Christmas. There's frost on every window. Oh, I can't believe my eyes, and in my bones I feel the warmth that comes from inside. I've never seen The Nightmare Before Christmas. Sorry. But you know, it always looks interesting. Tim Burton had his moment. So the question is, what's a book that's perfect for a perfect read for winter? And so I just went with 19th century literature in general. I think I mentioned this before. I have a tendency to save Balzac novels for the winter and to read them around Christmas time and in January. And in thinking back over just reading, particularly 19th century French literature, it's often around this time of year that I read Balzac or Flaubert or Stendhal or Zola. This just seems to be the time period in which I do it. So that was my answer to that question. And then the last prompt is prompt number 10. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Did I ever tell you about Bumble's Bounce? Oh, sorry, it's Didn't I Ever Tell You About Bumble's Bounce? I have seen the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer kind of claymation stop-motion cartoon, one of my wife's favorites. So the question is, what's one of your favorite creatures from a book? And I went with Behemoth, the cat from The Master of the Margarita, who is kind of an evil demon who does awful things, but is a really cool, humongous cat. I'm not a cat person, so I guess I don't mind, a cat representing a demon. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. But that is a great book, and I enjoyed that. So that's my favorite creature from a book. So there you go. That is the Festive Family Favorite Film book tag. I think that was the name of it again. And I really enjoyed thinking about those movies and doing this tag and giving me a chance to see, that I can be festive. Anyway, so I'm not going to tag anybody. If you saw the tag, if you like the tag, please feel free to do it. Look forward to your comments in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.